This is a revolutionary F2L trick that I think could really change how we do cross and F2L in CFOP. So, let me show you how it's done. The way I found this trick was really interesting. So, I was just doing one of my OLLs, and I think it was the big lightning bolt, and I do that with lefty moves. And a lot of OLLs have this trigger here to set them up. A lot of the line OLLs do. So I was doing that, and I messed it up, and I did this. And I was like, oh, I messed up. And I noticed something really interesting, which is that this, if you are color neutral, can look like an F2L pair. Now, if you're not color neutral, it doesn't, but this is a pair of pieces, and it can be paired up exactly like an F2L pair. And if I were to reverse those moves, I actually just inserted that pair. Like that. So then, therefore, this must be a cross piece. And this is a really interesting insert because it goes across, like over this. So when I insert it, it goes over to here from the left side like that. Or from the right side like this. It goes over this pair, which is really interesting that it skips over this pair. And that I can insert that exactly like a normal pair I would, without interfering with any of the other slots or the cross piece, really. Minus the fact that I switch it out with a real one. So, you might be thinking to yourself, well, God cubing, so what? This is no big deal. It's just an insert. Like so. And plus, the cross is messed up, so you'd never use it in a real solve, right? Well, wrong. I'll give you an example in this scramble. So, what we see here is that it's really easy to get 3 cross pieces solved, so I just insert the green, correct, according to the red, and then align them and align the blue, which is quite easy, but then I have a flipped edge, and I'm sure that somebody could come up with an easy way. For instance, here you'd put that there, but let's just say that the cross is really hard to get all 4 pieces in. Well, with this new insert that I've found, what you can actually do is you can just ignore one of the cross pieces, or all of them even, because with this cross piece and with that insert, I now have the option of using either of these 2 middle layer edges as well. So as you see here, instead of inserting this one like that or something, I just put that there and put it in like it was a cross piece. Super easy to do. And what that's going to allow me to do is that later on in the solve, after I've solved maybe a couple pairs, I could pair up these 2 right here. So the way I would do that is I would pretend that this green is my cross color sticker, and then I would pair them up. So that's easy if you're color neutral. But the problem here is that this edge needs to be a bad edge, because this is also a bad edge. So this is going to need to be a bad edge. So that means that this orange is going to need to actually face the front. So what I'm going to do to solve that problem is something that you could probably avoid by controlling which edges are good and bad in your solves. If you know how to do that, I have a video on that actually, so you can check out that video in the top right here. So I just did that there to show you how to make it a bad edge. You can go check out that video, but anyway. So with pairing this, you need to be mindful of a couple of things. The first one, which I already mentioned, is that this pair needs to be attached to a bad edge. So this edge is bad because the front color, the color of this piece that we put in, that's not a cross piece, but it's a pseudo-cross piece, if you will, needs to be facing up. And also, you can't pair them up with these ones, because this is a blue, so you need to remember that it's blue. That means that you need to pair up the cross piece edge with its blue corresponding piece, like this. And I could do this at any time during the F2L. I can solve this pair. And once I have, I just insert it using that 3-move insert there. And if you happen to not have solved either of them, then it is okay if the pair is a bad pair. I mean, if the pair has a good edge, you can just use some F moves like that to solve it. But it's better to be safe and go with making the pair with a bad edge. That way, you can solve it even if this one is solved. Now, I know that this is a lot of thinking to be doing during a solve, so people who use CFOP don't really like to think. I mean, Max Park says, don't think, just solve. You know, Cubehead says that a lot. Well, but Anyway, like, you really don't want to be thinking, so this is a really hard thing to implement into your two-handed solves. So similar to that edge control video where you orient all your last layer edges, it's not really something I see people using a lot in their speed solves, but this is a really interesting technique, and I would like to see people use it. So I really only see this being used for one-handed or feet, which is no longer an event. Kind of sucks. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, but yeah, like I could only really see this being used for slower turning events, even though it's a really, really interesting thing, and it's something that I think is really fun. And maybe in the future it could be used for two-handed solving, and that would be really, really cool to see, because it's so cool being able to have 3 different edges be your crosspiece. So like any of these 3, it adds so much to the solve. So I think that that's really interesting, and that a lot of top-level cubers could probably implement this, and even slower ones could implement this into their solves. It would take a very long time, and this would change a lot of things about CFOP, but it really does increase that efficiency, and I think that matters a lot. And you would want to do a lot of slow solves with it so that you can get used to it. Well, that was abrupt, but I really do believe that this is revolutionary, and I would like to see more people use it. So, if you would, share this video with some other people so that they can learn this amazing technique and use it in their solves. I would like to see this become something similar to pseudo F2L. Yeah. Bye.